Okay, cool. I just spent 20 minutes talking to a camera that took a picture instead of a video. That was fun. Okay, let's start again. Okay, so it's been a long month and I'm late. I'm like 5 days late on the yarn update. Why? It's been a long month, okay? It's been really hard. My cat is sick, the cat that wants to get in right now. Okay, I'm back. So my cat that is currently sitting under the camera is sick and is very, very sick and has been having ups and downs for a month now, and it's been exhausting. And so I haven't been able to do everything that I wanted to do. I'm so late on bullet journal stuff just because I didn't have the mind for it. And so I haven't done any yarn stuff as much as I wanted. So yeah, no using my stash as much as I'd like. But I can do it in the future. She's still alive. She's doing good right now. But she keeps having up and downs, so I don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring. And it's exhausting and it's draining, and I've been trying to take care of her, trying to watch over her, the hospitalizations. I'm trying to keep it together mostly. I've been spending $1,500 on this month alone on vet bills, and I'm completely drained. I'm going to the food bank for food because I'm so broke, and it's been a lot, you know. So yeah, yarn wise it was just not the priority, but I did manage to do some things and I'm pretty proud of that. But that means I'm late on the video, and you're gonna have to deal with it. It's been hot, really hard and tough, and I'm so tired. So first of all, I made this top, this crochet top that looks really cool, and that was completely an impulsive project. And I don't regret making it all because it does look really cool, and it was very fun to make. But for that, I wanted to make it. I had the idea from a video of someone, and of course, at first I wanted to follow her idea, so I followed one of her patterns for the mesh, and it was supposed to have like puff stitch flowers everywhere. But as soon as I started making the puff stitch flowers, they were too loose, so I tried to make them tighter, which meant that the length of fabric that I was doing shrunk dramatically. So I was like 20 rows in, and I would have to rip it off just to make it bigger. And I was like, you know what, I don't even enjoy making puff stitch. I don't enjoy making those flowers. Let's just not make the flowers. Let's just make the mesh and deal with what it has. So I made the mesh, and I made a knitted 2x2 rib for the bottom and called it a day. And I'm really glad. It's cotton, and it's going to need blocking every time I wash it, and so I'm not going to be able to wear it as much because I don't want to block it as much, but it does look cool and I really like it. And so I didn't have any cotton yarn. I only had wool and acrylic for the summer was not a good idea, and wool was just not an option because I wasn't going to make a summer top in wool. So I had to buy cotton yarn for it, and I didn't have any. So I went to the thrift store and I had this massive bag containing absolutely massive 500 grams skeins. And entangling them and putting them into balls took forever. So I only put into balls one of the skeins, but that makes 100 grams balls each time, and so I have 5 of those. Well, a couple go there, but you get the idea. And so yeah, that is a lot of cotton yarn, and it's a pretty neutral color, so if I want to do a cotton yarn project in the future, I can totally dye it pretty easily. And also I will be able to use it on my Giant Roman cross stitch, because it's going to be a very good filler color, and that means that it's a lot cheaper than every little skein of cross stitch yarn that always costs so much. This one I can use to fill the inside of it. It's gonna be a lot cheaper. So that's good. That's a good thing I did. I basically add a kilo of yarn for 10 bucks. In my books, it works very well. Other thing that I did is I finished this crochet skirt. So I did that in April, I think, and that's why I had the itch to crochet after that, the top, because I haven't crocheted in a while, and I did that in June because I just wanted to. And so I finished it. I finished the crochet part. I haven't sewn up the side because I need to block it first. I need to make a lining with pockets, and I need to sew up the side around the pockets. And it's going to be taking a while, and I was not motivated to do that, so I just didn't. So that's on my list, but at least the crochet part is done. And I used all the yarn, all the brushed yarn that I had. And I don't know if it looks good, but it was fun to make, at least. And it used up all of that yarn, which is good. Because I really had no other idea what to do with this. And I cannot frog it. It's not yarn that will agree to frogging. So that's the crochet thing I did. Now, I don't know if I told you about that, but I am making napkins for my neighbor as a housewarming project, gift. So I want to make napkins, and I want to make a big tablecloth. And so far I've been working on the napkins, because if I can't finish the tablecloth in time, at least I'll have the napkins, and I think she'll be okay with it. I do plan to do both, but at first the deadline was June, because that's what they said the apartment will be ready for, and now it's October, so I have a bit more room for that. Honestly, it's going a lot faster than I thought. So yeah, I've been doing chain stitch to remake the hem, because I dyed the fabric, and so the acrylic thread that made the hem was no longer matching the fabric, so I made this to make it neat and make it look good. And I'm making a different rose design on every one of them. So I made this one that was really fast and fun, and then I made a cross stitch one that was not so fun, but I like the look of it. And I have idea for the other two, but I haven't done them yet. It's probably gonna take me under a day, but I just haven't done it yet. And I've been delaying filming this video because I haven't done it yet, and I wanted to show off the 4 napkins done, but that's not what happened. Speaking of stitching, I also made a little last medallion. It's not super white, but honestly it was a thrifted thing. It cost me like $1, and I undid the design that was on it, and indeed I couldn't wash it because it's already glued and cut, so that was not an option. And then I make my little loss on it, and it's fun, and I'm going to suspend it somewhere in my gallery walls. And then I made this one, which is really cool. It's every mention of love and death in Romeo and Juliet. So every heart is love, every cross is death, and you can see the progression of it. So in the prologue they did mention death a couple of times, and then it was love, 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 love for half the play, and then death started creeping in. I think that's pretty cool, and I really like that in the ending there is one mention of death and then one mention of love. I just think it's really cool, and I'm really glad I did it. It was really hard to keep track because that's a lot of items, and I really wanted to make it perfect. I did manage to do it under one day, so that was cool. And yeah, I'm really glad I did it. I think it looks really cool, and I like that it's an Easter egg on my wall that is like only understandable if you talk to me and I explain it to you, you know. So that's cool. And then last thing I did before I filmed this is the shrimp Evan No. So I was using Stitch Fiddle for the pattern of it, and then it was just not working with me at all. First, the shrimp was supposed to be this size, so it would have gone further than the canvas, than the loop. So I had to remake it by hand anyway. The heaven is fitting to the pattern that I made on Stitch Fiddle, but I made it one stitch shorter by mistake, so I had to, you know, make all of the letters shorter for it. And then, so since this one was smaller than supposed, and this one was smaller than supposed, it left a huge room for the no, and it was supposed to be that big, and I was like, no, that's gonna look absolutely ridiculous. A small now just in the middle like that. So I freehanded it, and I used temporary ink, disappearing ink marker to trace the guidelines, but that bitch won't live. It was clean when I did it last time, and now there's blue everywhere. I know it'll leave when I wash it again, but it's so annoying. I already washed it 3 times and it's still bleeding blue. So annoying. And another thing, that's enough stitching. I haven't done the other 2 napkins, so they're the next priority, and then the tablecloth. That's embroidery. And then I made some sleeves because I don't know if you know, but I have this ink tattoo, colored ink tattoo on my arm, and it's very sensitive to the sun. I don't want to expose it to the sun because then it would fade super fast, because it's color coloring, it just fades super fast. It does not like the sun. So I tend to cover it in the summer just to protect it, because it was very painful and very expensive, and I don't want to redo it anytime soon. So I'm making sleeves just to put over my arm to protect it from the sun. So I made this black and white one because the ones I have just weren't, they were very set colors, and I wanted more options because I have a lot of different outfits and I wanted something that matched. So I made the black and white one, and I made this sorbet one, so it's yellow, orange and magenta, and I like it. It's really fun. And I made this one, so the first I made in the last 3 months, and it looks really cute, and it fits perfectly. The only problem is that I realized that while the blue is probably acrylic, the pink is definitely wool, and 100% wool I think. It is so scratchy, and it blooms when I block it, so it doesn't fit anymore when I block it. It's so annoying. I was hoping that blocking it would make it less scratchy. I did that, I did pressing it, I did putting it in the freezer, I did putting some hair conditioner on it. No fucking way of doing anything about it. So that sucked. So it is very scratchy, but it's good that I learned that now, because that was supposed to be the yarn. I was supposed to make thigh-high socks with it, and I'm so glad I didn't put that much work into something that I wasn't going to wear, because it is so scratchy. I'm not putting that on my legs. So listen, learn, and for the thigh-high socks I will have to buy actual sock yarn in blue and pink, and that is in in the future, you know, when I have money again, because right now I don't have money again. And the problem is that I now have all of that blue and pink yarn, and I do have a lot of it, which I need to use, so I think they'll become umbrellas. And it's very thin yarn, so it's gonna be fun. So I need to freehand the umbrella patterns into big lace doilies, because every time I tried finding and using a pattern for an umbrella, it was a huge mess. So first, there are a lot of them. Most of them are expensive, which of course they are, like, it's a difficult thing to do. I did find one free one that is actually in French, and I didn't understand anything that was going on. I just don't know how to read patterns. It was so confusing, so I think I'm just going to freehand it. And that's a little daunting because it's something that I never did. And I know I can do it, but it's going to be very hard. It's going to take a lot of work and undoing and undoing, and I just don't have it right now. So it's going to be in the future, you know? So yeah, that goes back into the stash for when I have the energy to do with it. So that's what I did in the last 3 months. Honestly, it's a lot better than it should have been, because cat problems made my life absolutely miserable. So that was pretty good. Oh yeah, and I think it was in April I did start mending some socks because they kept having holes in the heels. So yeah, I made this one as an afterthoughts thing, and then this one has duplicate stitch, and I gave up because that was so annoying. And it's now in the back burner. Why? Because it's no longer winter. I don't need them. Far from eyes, from heart, all that. So I haven't done that. Now the goals for the next 3 months are the Coraline sweater. It's been really hard to focus on the Coraline sweater because I hate the way the duplicate stitch look. So I'm going to have to felt the stars in. I don't know if I have enough white wool roving for it, and I cannot afford to buy any more. So if I don't have any, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to try to cart some yarn, but I need to find wool yarn. Wool white yarn for it. I don't know. And also, Neil Gaiman is a huge piece of shit. And since I learned it, you know, motivation to do Coraline cosplay is pretty hard. I'm really trying to focus on the fact that it's a cosplay of the movie, because Laika is actually a good company that is doing some good, morally good things, and it cannot compensate for the huge piece of shit and sexual predator that Neil Gaiman is, but yeah, it's really hard. But also I don't want to give up. I spent 3 years working on the damn thing. I just want it to be over, you know. I do have the wig, I do have the rest of the cosplay already done. I need to finish this and move on. But it's been really hard finding the motivation to do something after such a disgusting human being. Yeah, that's been hard. So that's definitely on the list. What else I have on the list? I want to embroider the napkins and the tablecloth because she's moving in October. It needs to be done by October. Finish the skirt would be nice. It's really not a priority. If it doesn't happen in this year, it doesn't happen in this year. It's fine. At least I did the using yarn part. I'm good with it. I'd like to do some handkerchiefs because the sheet I bought for the tablecloth is too big, so I'm going to have to cut the tablecloth out of it, and I want to use the little pieces left to make little handkerchiefs with that. I'm gonna keep that color because it's like light blue right now, and I'm gonna dye the tablecloth, but I'm gonna keep the little pieces the light blue that they are and make little handkerchiefs. If I have time, embroider initials on it. I think that would be cute. If I have the time or really want to, I can make a bikini out of it. out of the cotton yarns that would be really fun, swimsuits, because I'm really struggling to find a swimsuit that is cool and that is 2 pieces and that is a little mask on the edges, because I'm a little masculine, because I am trans mask and it kind of sucks that I don't really have an option. So I'd like to make a short and a bikini top that is like actually a bandeau with thick sleeves. I want something that, you know, feels a little mask, and that would be fun, but I don't have money to go to the beach, I don't have money to go to the pool. I could go to the lake, but I have swimsuit to go to the lake if I'm going 2 times this year, you know, so I don't really have money to go swimming, so I'm going to deal with what I have. I'd like to do some things for a potential makers market, that would be nice, and try to go for like Christmas season, so I need to do things before that. I'm going to need money. I really try to do everything I can to get money because I need that, and so I'd like to make some fidget toys with small amount of yarn, and I'd like to remake the huge purple scarf that I made that is really awkward, that isn't fully two times the size of my, it's really big and clunky, and I want to make a cape out of it instead, and that way it still goes with the beanie I made out of it, but it is more wearable and I think it'll look better. So I'm going to make that into a cape instead. I don't think it's going to take me all that long. And last thing I want to make for the next 3 months is I have this dread set that I have started like years ago. I really need to finish it. They are black and white twist, and I'm going to call it the Jack set for Jack Skellington, and I really want to wear it on Halloween this year, so I need to make them. And then for October to December I want to make the fall blanket, so it's the blanket with the huge amount of orange, burnt orange yarn. Oh, I don't like that. It's my douchebag neighbor who's talking to the good neighbor like, I don't like that. Okay, they don't seem to talk, I think they just came out at the same time. Okay, so the huge blanket because it's something I want to make. It's something I know I had completely been in a mood to make this fall, and I'm really excited to make it. So I'm going to take some time this fall to make it, even if it's probably not something that I'm going to sell at the market. I still want to do it. And yeah, I'm excited to do that in the fall, because of course it's a fall project. I have the yarn for sunflower pillow. That it would be nice, but it's gonna take me a while, so I don't know if that's gonna happen this year. I'd like to make a Christmas sweater. I have the yarn for a Christmas sweater. I like that. I want to sew up a frog plushie for Halloween season, because it's gonna be a frog plushie inspired by Over the Garden Wall. And I have the fabric for it, I have the stuffing for it, and every time around the Halloween I just don't have the time because I'm working on the stupid Coraline sweater or just overwhelmed with everything else. So I'm going to tone down my plans for Halloween and try to do a maximum of things in advance, so you know I have a chance to enjoy the Halloween season this year. It would be nice. And if I have time, I want to make a braided Santa hat, like knitted with braids, with lots of cables and braids, and a thick rack rib and a white pom-pom. It's going to be difficult because I'm going to use very thin red yarn, but if I have the time I think it would be really cool and it would be really nice. I still have the Christmas socks to make, I still haven't done them. And also, if I do have the time, I have enough thin white yarn, different types. I have a ball every time, but very different yarns. and I want to make a knit lace simple scarf. So like a triangle scarf is going to be really small, but it's a way to learn a lot of different lace stitches and lace patterns on a thing that doesn't have really high stakes. It's really going to be to try, you know. So that's gonna be fun. But it's probably not gonna happen this year. I do have a lot of things to do. So yeah, hopefully my cat goes better and doesn't need surgery and doesn't need to be put down, and I get a bit of room to breathe. That would mean that I have time to do stuff. That is not going to happen this month. Why? Because first, it's really hard to find motivation to do yard stuff when it's so hot outside. And secondly, I am really behind on bullet journal month. I have stuff from 2022 that are still not done. I haven't done the sketches for it. I haven't filmed it. I am not able to edit the videos because I haven't filmed them. And I need to do that. I have 3 months already in this year that I haven't done, which is bad. So I need to catch up on all of that, and that's a priority for this month. So I can move on, because right now it's a little daunting, a little stressful. So that's kind of my priority right now. And then yarn is going to happen when it happens, you know. But yeah, that's the plan. Hopefully it goes well. I'll see you eventually in 3 months.